Mississippi for the West Point Growth Alliance on this
Friday Eve.
We welcome now Scott Reed, owner, Petal Pushers Florist, and board member, Sally Kate Winters Family Services. Scott, good to see you. Thanks for joining us on Middays.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right, so we've got the Prairie Arts Festival coming up. How big a deal is that to folks like you that have businesses in the area?
Well, it's absolutely a big deal for us. It brings in thousands of people. We're open every Saturday, but every Saturday is not Prairie Arts Saturday for us. Our foot traffic obviously goes way up, sales go up. One of the great things for us is kind of the trickle down from that is. Sure. You have people that come in that day, maybe it's just to escape the heat, or maybe it's just to kind of browse around, but they see something new, see something that they haven't seen before, and then they'll come back, or come back later. We always advertise. Lisa does a great job with our Christmas downtown Christmas open house. So if we have that date, Prairie Arts, we can say, well, we'll have open house in just a few weeks, and so then they'll make plans to come back. So it's a great way to really increase our visibility and our foot traffic, and then turns into repeat sales for us.
It's amazing the number of folks that will come to a small town, a town the size of West Point, for the Prairie Arts Festival.
That's right.
To what do you attribute that? It's got to be something really attracting them.
Well, I think the big thing that you attribute that to is just years and years of a solid foundation of the people who had this vision and did it right 40 years ago when it started, and gave it a reputation 40 years ago of something that people should travel to see. I think a lot of credit goes there. And then just the people like Lisa and her crew that have, in most recent years, kept improving it, kept growing it. And then our town, I tell people, it's amazing. I'll close my store about the time the festival starts, and I'll have to weave my way home because by that time garbage trucks are picking up garbage and all of that kind of stuff. I usually don't get back out until I go to church Sunday morning, and you can't even tell that, wow, 25 or 35 or ever how many thousand people were dropping wrappers and everything all day long. I mean, so our city does a great job, too, of just making sure it all runs smoothly. And, who wouldn't want to come to an event that's kind of planned and organized that well and executed that well?
From a business perspective, Scott, is that weekend, would you compare it to, say, Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving? Is it from a sales perspective?
From a sales perspective, probably very similar. From a foot traffic perspective, it's bigger than a Black Friday or something like that. It's just
that could mean sales down the road.
Sure, exactly. Yeah. That's why we do Prairie Arts. There are a lot of businesses who have said, well, it's a lot of foot traffic, it's a lot of kids, and I thought about closing. And I'm like, yeah, but you get that exposure, and then they're going to come back on a week when it's not as busy and they can spend more time and that sort of thing. Yeah. So, it's kind of one of those things you do to be supportive of the festival, obviously, but then also it's more of an investment into the future and repeat sales and customers coming back that may have seen something. Or, it's amazing now with social media and telephone sales. The Monday after Prairie Arts, well, we'll be closed because it's Labor Day, but Tuesday we'll get a telephone call. Hey, I was in there Saturday and I saw whatever. Do you still have that? Sure. Well, if I give you my card number, can you send it to me? Absolutely. We'll have to. So it's definitely an investment. That day I look at it kind of as an investment into future sales and that sort of stuff.
What's the climate like from a business perspective? I mean, a lot of that, of course, in the news and front and center in our political landscape as well. How's it going?
We've been so blessed, really, for the last, well, I've been in business this week. It'll be 22 years, and the whole thing has been a blessing. But, from my standpoint, I don't know how many business owners would feel this way, but as all the bad that came with COVID and the pandemic, there was some really good for us. When people had to shop local, they realized, oh, we really can still do this, or we don't have to go to Amazon quite as quickly because we can get it here. And we really kind of felt a real pickup in just people shopping local during COVID, and it's kind of, it's kind of stuck around. So we're in a really good place. The downtown's doing great. There's lots of, businesses popping up and that sort of thing. So from our standpoint, I can't speak for everybody, but from our standpoint, it's been really good lately. So
22 years, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So to what do you attribute your ability to compete so effectively with, you mentioned Amazon and the big box guys, the big online retailers and so forth. What's your differentiator?
The people who work for me. I
Sure.
mean, you know, you're not going to get that at Amazon and all of that kind of stuff. The people who know that you had a doctor's appointment. So when they come in, you know, my staff will say, how'd your doctor's appointment turn out? Or how's retirement going? Or didn't your sister retire? Or, you know, and there's just a lot that says, you know, that says a lot for people, and they want to come back and shop with people who know them and know what's going on in their lives and know that their grandkids had a birthday or whatever. And so absolutely, my staff is a big part of that, is just the people and the one-on-one and the connections that we make.
No substitute for that human interaction, is there?
Absolutely no substitute.
It still applies today in
That's
our
right.
digital world.
That's right.
And people still want it.
As big as AI is,
Yeah.
there's just certain things that you cannot, you know, gift wrap. People say, I can't believe you still gift wrap, you know, and I'm like, well, that's just kind of what we do here. And, you know, you're not going to get all that from Amazon or even big box stores anymore. So I think that's a big part of it. We just try to be very personal with our clients, and they become your friends.
I think we could make that same assessment of all small hometown type businesses like that. That's their differentiator.
That's right. If you're not doing it that way, you're doing it the wrong way, because
Right.
that's what people are looking for when they come to small town.
There's no doubt about it. And I think it illustrates that you can effectively compete
Sure.
with the behemoths.
That's right.
But there's a place for both.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. And obviously, in a place like West Point, you can't get everything.
Sure.
You're going to have to go to a bigger town, or you're going to have to go to the internet some. I just ask people to try first. You know, try to get it here first. I had a lady that came in my store, this was years ago, and she said, I am so excited. I did all of my Christmas shopping online, and it's all already delivered. And I said, don't come up in here telling me something like that. At least try to get it here first, and then go online if you can't. I mean, we all have to do that, but just try local first.
Yeah. That's good advice. So, you know, we got an election coming up. Don't want to get too political on you here, but, you know, what are you hearing from, say, your peers in the business community? What concerns do they have about the possible outcome there, and any particular policies that might affect them, positive or negative? Are they thinking about that?
To be 100% honest with you, I just don't get into it a whole lot, because everybody's got an opinion, and but I mean, I think overall everybody is just wanting things to get better that need to get better, and the things that are working to keep working, and that sort of thing. You know, there's obviously some concerns, and we all would like to see some little less government in some of our business and telling us what to do and that sort of thing. But you know, I think as long as we get some positive things going on, I think it's going to keep rocking along just like it is, for our standpoint at least.
Yeah. Has this surge in inflation, has that affected your business in any way?
Absolutely it has. And unfortunately, we held off as long as we could, but we've had to pass that on to clients and that sort of thing. And but yeah, there are things we're paying double for, that, you know, supplies that especially for whatever reason in the funeral industry, we do funeral flowers and cemetery work and that sort of thing, and some of the supplies that you need, you know, some of that's doubled. It's like I tell people, when they're renovating a house and you have to redo the electrical and all that, you spend all that money before you ever even see anything. Yeah. That's kind of how we are. Some of the stuff that you have to buy before you ever even see anything, and so we have to explain that quite often these days, is, you know, some of these prices are going up because things are going up for us. And
are you starting to see it level out? I mean, just consistent with the recent CPI reports that show that inflation is moderating?
I think it's leveling out some. I don't think it's getting any better or going down any, but I don't think it's climbing quite like it was, at least on our end. And we held off as long as we could, raising some prices. We've had to raise some, but I think as long as it stays level, things are going to be pretty good. So.
Yeah. What about from a local policy or a state policy perspective, before we go, anything there that you'd like to see some changes on, or is all that going pretty good for you?
It's going pretty good for us, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So, well, we got a big weekend coming up, and sounds like that the merchants here and the businesses are all on board.
We're ready. We're ready. Yeah.
Pretty big deal.
It is.
And then you got school back in session too. Does that affect your business?
Absolutely. Our business, my business is kind of seasonal. Fortunately for me, when one season ends, there's usually another. But that end of summer, things drag along. So when school picks up, things get a little bit busier and that sort of thing, and there's more foot traffic, and there's more birthdays and all that kind of stuff. So, yep, we're glad school's back in.
Scott, appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Scott
Look forward
Reed,
to it.
owner of Petal Pushers Florist, and board member Sally Kate Winters, Family Services. Folks, we're stepping aside for a break. When we come back, we've got Rod Bobo, the mayor of West Point, Mississippi.